this is Tammy with Next Level Me, and welcome to another segment of our Spotlight interview series. Today I'm with Brendan Sullivan, who is the founder of Sullivan Maintenance Group, a family of home services companies. And Brendan's story is quite the career reinvention journey. Prior to founding his company, he was a managing director and account executive for BNY Pershing, and he was managing some of their largest wealth clients. He had been there 29 years, and then in July of this year, he decided to pursue a passion that he had had for a while, but had never acted on. And today, we're going to learn more about what drove his career pivot. Welcome, Brandon. So nice for you to join us today.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Awesome. So, from client wealth management to family home services, that's quite the quantum leap. Can you share with us a little bit more about exactly what your company does now, and then also what the driver was behind that reinvention of your career?
Sure, happy to. So Sullivan Maintenance Group is a residential property management company who provides a host of services to our clients. Clients effectively outsource their home service relationships. We can contract on their behalf. We can consolidate all of the billing processes so they only have to deal with one vendor, which is us, as opposed to them having to find a plumber when they need a plumber, an electrician when they need an electrician, or change their lawn maintenance company. One phone number gets them everything that they need, and it really simplifies the process of home ownership. Within that group, we also own a pool company called Crystal Clear Pool Care, which provides ongoing pool maintenance in the Seminole County, Orange County area of Florida, as well as White Glove Lawn and Landscape, which is an acquisition for the company. The other two are startups. And White Glove Lawn and Landscape provides high quality, really high-end landscaping and lawn services to homeowners on a weekly basis, as well as support for any projects, do plantings, mulching, sodding, all of that type of landscape work.
So, what drove you from wealth management to family home services?
First of all, it's always been a passion of mine, right? I've been a homeowner for close to 20, more than 25 years now, I guess at this point, multiple homes in multiple locations. And one of the challenges that I've always had is finding vendors who provide the level of service that I expect, right? Coming from wealth management, we provide our clients with the utmost service at every opportunity. And my experience is in that in the home services business, that's not always the case. In fact, sometimes it's even hard to get someone to call you back. So I really set out to establish a home services business that provides service the way wealth management firms do. You know, top quality, white glove all the way through. When you think of brands like Tiffany and Hilton and all of those types of places, the way that they treat their clients is the way that we've set out to treat our clients.
That's such an awesome mission. So, it had to be challenging to, first of all, make the decision to make that shift. And then I'm sure you've encountered some challenges along the way. Would you like to share some of those with us and how you managed to navigate through them and overcome them?
Yeah, sure. I can't say I've actually navigated through all of them yet, but that's part of the process, I suppose, right? Um, Coming to the decision was really the hardest part and the easiest part, I think, all at once, right? Um, after 29 years in the same industry, working with the same and many of the same people for that entire time, making the decision to leave, I think, is hard for anybody. It certainly was for me. I can't really pinpoint a specific reason as to why, other than to say it just kind of felt like the time, right? I was sort of at the point in my career where, yes, there was opportunity for continued mobility, continued opportunity, but at the same time, I sort of felt like it had run its course and it was time to consider doing something differently. One of the things that I've always wanted to do, and incidentally, today is my father's 78th birthday, and he's sort of the inspiration for some of this. He left a job in the financial industry, banking industry specifically, um, almost 50 years ago now, to start his own company. And he's been doing that ever since. And I've been inspired in the same way to be my own boss for a change, to not have to worry about corporate rules and corporate governance, but rather to be able to set what those rules and governance should be in the way that I thought was best for the company, best for me and my family, but also best for the people we set out to serve. So that's, I think, really what inspired me at the end of the day. But making the decision, once I got to the point where I felt like my
Mhm.
career where it was had run its course, that's what I mean by the easy part of it. At that point, it just felt like the only logical decision to make. Uh, Actually saying the words was a little harder than that. But once I did, the level of stress and relief that I felt sort of reinforced that I made the right decision.
That's fantastic. And happy birthday to your father, by the way.
I
Uh,
have to call him after.
so was there any point where if you had made a decision differently? So let's say you had two choices and you had decided an alternate path from the path that you took, that things could have turned out radically different outside, of course, of leaving the role that you were in to form this company to start with.
I mean, I think so. I mean, I did look around a little bit externally within the same industry to see whether opportunities might present themselves. I did consider just changing from one firm to the other firm, doing something similar. Um, right now, I feel like I would have regretted that, to be honest with you. So I definitely feel like I made the right decision. The hardest decisions that I've had since I decided to do this is how to actually structure what it is I wanted to do, how much of it I would do from a startup perspective versus an acquisition perspective. Um, the biggest fear with all of it, of course, is you're walking away from an income stream that you have from your prior employer to one that you have to build for yourself, right? That's the trepidation that comes along with it, which definitely adds to the complexity of the decision. But I think the hardest decisions I've had to make was acquire or start. Um, I did acquire the lawn business, as I already said. That was about 2 weeks ago, and it was the right decision. I'm already 100% certain of that. I had considered acquiring a pool business and had gone down the road in that process. I ultimately decided not to do that, and at this point, I believe it was the right decision, but time will tell on that side.
Yeah, those are definitely hard decisions, and I think you hit on a key one that a lot of people in that are on the edge of trying to make the decision as to whether or not to leave or not face, and that's, do you give up what is a known commodity and a stable income and benefits and all of that type of thing and embark out on your own when it truly is the unknown?
Yes.
Um, so that's a great piece of advice that you gave in terms of how you approach that. If you were giving advice to an individual in that position that's kind of on that edge of their career reinvention journey, what are the other things that you would relay to them in terms of nuggets of wisdom?
First, I would say you have to trust in your own abilities, right? I think a lot of us, when we get comfortable, and again, maybe I don't speak for everybody, I speak for myself. When I got comfortable in a role, I got comfortable with the fact that I was good at what I was doing, but didn't necessarily believe that I could do other things to the same level of success. The reality is we're all capable of much more than we actually do every single day, right? We're just doing what we do because that's what our role is. So presented with the opportunity to do something else, if you're successful in your old role, there's no reason to think you can't be successful in the new, right? So trusting that you can make a change is key to the process for sure. Coming from the financial services industry, making sure that I can pay my mortgage and I can support my family and all of that sort of stuff was critical to the process as well. So a lot of time and effort went into understanding what my financial situation was. I spent a lot of time with my financial advisor to talk about my retirement plans, my current savings, my current sort of spending, what it is to support my household every single month, to make sure that I was in a position to undergo this venture. For at least sufficient enough time to see if I can make it work before having to maybe pivot again. But I think those are the two critical parts, right? One was having the confidence to do it and trusting that I can do it. And two was making sure that I have the time to support what I need to support while I execute on it.
Yeah, I love that you hit on that point. There's actually a LinkedIn post that I will have coming out this week that's talked about boxing ourselves in because we get convinced the fact that we can only do what we've always done, and we forget about all of those transferable skills that we have that could actually be parlayed into something totally different. So I 100% agree with that piece of advice. If you were stepping back and your old self in your past career was giving advice to your new self, what advice do you think that they would share?
Oh boy, that's always a tough question, I think, for most people. For me, the advice first of all, the advice I always used to give everybody else was always raise your hand, right? When people say, when your boss or a coworker says they need help or they need someone to do something extra, always raise your hand. That's an opportunity for you to learn something new, to add value to something, to add to your own skill sets. I think the advice that I constantly got that I didn't do a great job of executing on was marketing yourself, right? And one thing that I wish I had done more of or had been better at is actually selling my own abilities and my own experiences to those around me, to my peers, to managers, to senior managers, executives, things along those lines. That's a very important component of working in a large organization. I was blessed with having direct managers for most of my career who were very good at elevating me for my efforts. And I fell into the trap of being complacent and starting to feel like if I do my best and I'm successful, it's going to get recognized. And the reality is that doesn't happen all the time. More often than not, you have to be out there telling everybody what you're doing, making sure they understand how important your activities are and your execution is, to ensure that you get what you deserve at the end of the day and that you're rewarded appropriately.
Yeah, and those that's one of those transferable skills that really comes in handy when you leave, right? If you had figured out how to market yourself then you can translate that into marketing yourself now.
I'm learning on the fly as we speak. So,
So that I think that's a great note. Learning on the fly is a continuous effort. So I think we'll end on that comment. And Brenda, I thank you so much for joining me today. It's been such a pleasure talking with you. And for those of you watching, if you are standing at the crossroads of your own career pivot, I hope that Brandon's story has been inspiring to you. And if you've got a passion inside, do what Brendan did and go after it. You never know who you can be as your next level me. And if you need anything, let us know. See you on the bold path.